Yo, what up, what's going on, guys? Vince Perry here, photographer and video maker, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Mamiya RB67. This is actually my intro into medium format film photography, and I have one RB67 and another, so I'm going to be talking about why I actually have both of these, and show you some of the photos that I've been taking and talk about my experience with it. So I actually bought my first Mamiya RB67 earlier this year, back in February. I was looking for a way to get into medium format film photography and had already been doing film photography for a little over a year at this point, and I just wanted to explore that medium. So I was researching ways and checking things out on what would be the most easiest way to get into medium format, a low barrier of entry, and I came across a lot of things showing me the Mamiya RB67. Now, with that low barrier of entry, one reason it's labeled that way is because of the price point actually for the medium format camera. So this is actually my first medium format camera. I ended up picking up the Mamiya RB67 Pro. Now there's actually three variants of this: the Pro, the Pro S, and the Pro SD. So the first camera I got features just pieces from the Mamiya Pro, and the second one I ended up getting features parts from the Pro and the Pro SD. With that being said, the camera is modular. You can have different parts for each, which is why the two cameras I have different parts, but I wanted to keep them both to basically show you guys the differences in this video. So I got my Mamiya RB67 for a pretty solid price. I paid $380 for everything, including the lens, film back, viewfinder, etc., everything to get the camera going in a working fashion where I can just load it up and get out and shoot. I got it from a local place here in Seattle called the Shot on Film store, and for the last update video I took you guys through the store and showed you a little bit of what it was and many of the cameras that they house there. So when I actually bought the camera, I ended up getting an additional lens as well. So in addition to the 90mm, I got a 50mm lens as well, and a Polaroid back. The owner decided to throw them in there and give me a solid price, so it actually put me close to about $500 to just get started. The only reason why I kept both of these cameras is to actually do this video and show the comparison side by side, especially because the conditions were totally different and the pieces on the camera varied. I ended up finding a Mamiya RB67 in much better condition from another local camera store here in Seattle called Glazer's Camera. I paid $240 for just the body, the film back, and the viewfinder. But at this point I already had two lenses, and I just threw the other one on the other RB67 and then interchanged them as well. Now this one was just in way better condition cosmetically. I was just more satisfied with the condition of it. It actually features a different viewfinder as well from the Pro SD, and a different film back from the Pro SD that I actually ended up picking up later on from another store in Kenmore. And I actually ended up with two different types of film backs, a 120 and a 220 for each respective one, but I actually picked up another film back as well. One thing I really do enjoy about these cameras is being able to shoot from the waist. Using a waist level viewfinder, I feel like it caters to my shooting style pretty well, because I tend to shoot my subjects from the ground up and shoot them at that upward angle, so it just makes it very easy to do. If I'm already looking down at the camera, it's at my waist and my subject is out in the distance or wherever, it just makes the camera a lot easier to shoot from that point. And I also love the fact that I'm able to turn the film back to shoot landscape or portrait. So it just makes it for a really cool experience, aside from when I shoot digital and actually turning the camera this way or that way. I just rotate the film back and still compose my shot in the same type of manner as far as the way I'm holding the camera. So like I said, I did end up picking up the first Mamiya back in February, and I've actually been shooting a lot with it up until this point. So there's going to be a lot more videos and things to follow that, showing a lot of the photos, but I'll definitely show you guys some here. You know, it's been a really good camera to have, and I don't feel personally that it's as heavy as people make it seem online. Yes, it is a bulky camera, and people advise to not really use this camera for street photography, but I've definitely hauled this thing around all day, and my forearms have been sore the next day, but I think that's just a sign for me that I actually need to work out more. But it's heavy. It's metal, it's bulky, but it's not as heavy as they make it seem. Like, it's not, you're not gonna pick up the camera and just like ultimately dread it from the second that you pick it up. I think it's just something that'll maybe wear on you, and it definitely depends person to person, depending on your strength level. It's all mechanical, but if you can find a strap for it, I definitely recommend that. I don't have a strap for either of the Mamiyas, unfortunately, but maybe I'll get some in the future. It'll just make it carrying around just a little bit easier. But I tend to hold the camera kind of like a football sometimes, just pretty much safeguard it when I'm going around the city and everything. Having owned different parts for the RB67, I think I'll be running this setup that will feature the Pro SD film back, which doesn't have the foam light seals as the Pro and Pro S backs, so I won't have to worry about replacing those in the future. I didn't have any issue while shooting with either of those previous generation film backs. I was just able to find one locally and picked up a 220 back that still supports 120 film, for those who may not know, and it's the Pro SD version. So there's no foam light seals in there. I don't have to worry about doing that in the future. The viewfinders vary between both. My only thing about the waist level is a personal problem to me. I've shot with this camera before, and if it's hot, sunny, I end up getting sweaty, of course, and my glasses just start to kind of slip down when I'm looking down, so I just have to make sure these are really tucked behind my ears. But I also need to go to the doctor and get a new set of contacts because I don't have any more. So sometimes when I'm really trying to nail that focus, and I feel like it takes me a lot longer to nail my focus with these cameras than most people, but I think over time you kind of just get used to how the camera functions and you're able to just move a little bit quicker. But my glasses will start slipping, and sometimes that'll like interrupt my process. So fair warning to all my people out there who don't have perfect vision and wear glasses. If you have contacts, the day that you shoot with these cameras using a waist level viewfinder, I definitely recommend using your contacts that day. You know, I've used this camera in a number of situations, from street photography to portraits and fashion shoots. I actually think it's always a really cool conversation starter, especially when getting street portraits and doing street photography. I've had people come up to me and, you know, just really in awe because they've never seen a camera like this. I'm definitely happy to have the camera. I think it's going to serve as a great story when people see it on the shelf that I may put it on and take it off of course, to use. And, you know, I'm very satisfied with you know, everything that it's been for me. So if you're looking to pick one up, you have my stamp of approval. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, hit the bell. You know what the deal is. I don't want you to miss anything. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Holla. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. Peace.